Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. I'm Jonathan McGrew, and this is the 2013 Lexus GS 350 F Sport Real Review. So, we like to call these real videos because we go in depth and tell you all about these vehicles and all the pertinent things you need to know, feature, miles per gallon, power, all those things we're going to tell you, so stick around and let's see what this Lexus has to offer. So welcome back. We are in the 2013 Lexus GS 350 F Sport. It does seem like a mouthful, but this is really like the Mercedes E-Class AMG or the BMW M5. So this is the Lexus Performance Sports Sedan, and we're going to give you some details here to tell you what it's all about and whether or not it's a car you should look at. So first things first, let's kind of set the stage about the Lexus F Sport here. I'm not going to say GS 350 every time because I'll get tongue-tied and you guys will laugh at me. But the F Sport is about $59,000 as tested. It's $58,997 actually after delivery. It has a V6 motor, so it's a 3.5 liter V6, and it puts out about 306 horsepower. This particular car with the F Sport package has a lot of features. It has the F Sport wheel, F Sport seat, which give you 6-way power adjustable seat. You also have the F Sport front end, so you get the valance up front that has more of the flared look. It's a much more aggressive front end. And you also have the lip spoiler on the back on the exterior. So there's a lot of things about the F Sport that is different than the regular GS 350 that you might see. Another good point that we should talk about with the F Sport is that it also has an adaptive suspension that comes in the F Sport model. So you get this handy dial here with normal, eco, sport, and sport plus. And for those of you who are BMW fans, it'll look pretty familiar to you because it'll be very similar to the same kind of sport and sport plus modes that the 6 Series or 5 Series carries as well. So real quick, I want to talk about some of the class-leading features in the F Sport here and in all the GS 350s. It does have a 12.3-inch split color screen here in the dashboard. That is the biggest screen that I've seen in any of these sports sedans, and Lexus is very proud of it. It does have this mouse controller that is fairly different from most of the manufacturers, and they've done this because they really don't want you to reach up and touch the screen. It's not a touch screen. They want you to sit back, look at it, and then be able to control it right here from your fingertips so that you're not reaching around the car and taking your eyes off the road. Some other features that are nice, it does have a sunroof. It isn't a panoramic sunroof, and I really think that that would be a nice addition to the GS 350 F Sport or just the GS 350 in general. It's a nice feature that you see in a lot of other cars that we test, and I personally like, in Colorado especially, the ability to have all that light coming in when it's cold and wet and yucky outside. You still get the nice sun coming through the roof and warming the car. So that's something, but it does have heated and cooled or ventilated front seats and memory seats, automatic wipers, automatic headlights, pretty much everything that you would expect on a luxury sports sedan in the upper $50,000 range. I mean, we're almost right on top of $60K with this car. Some other unique features of the F Sport on the outside that we should talk about are the 19-inch gunmetal colored wheels. They're actually called graphite wheels, and they're a 5-spoke star design, and you'll only find them on the F Sport. They really set off. This particular car is the Rivera Red, which is a metallic red paint job, and those dark wheels, it's very she today to have this kind of bright colored car with the dark wheels. So it really fits in with the time and the design, pieces that people or consumers are looking for. So Lexus has really hit the nail on the head there, and the body on the outside is a very nice looking design. It's something that is kind of remarkable, really, because the the G has really gone from a bloated, kind of big-bodied looking sedan to a much more refined, sleek looking sedan, really more harkening back to its predecessors in the past, like the LS400. It's got a much more slim and trim look than a round and kind of bubbly look, which I personally appreciate more. So who's going to be looking for an F-Sport? That's probably a good question. There's a lot of these performance sports sedans, and they're definitely not the high volume mix in the GS model. These are going to be a low volume number of car. The person that's looking for this car is going to be sports oriented in terms of their driving style. They're going to like a rougher ride, a more aggressive look, and that sound that you get out of a performance sedan. And the nice thing about this F-Sport is that when you're cruising around in town, you can have it in eco mode if you're just kind of moseying on about your business, but then you can put it out into the sport modes, the Sport or Sport Plus, and you really do get an aggressive growl out of the exhaust when you tip into the throttle real heavily. And that is what enthusiasts are looking for in this car. So if you had to put it down on paper, this is probably going to be, I would guess, male or female that is very into the sport driving aspect, but does not have the ability or the luxury, if you will, to have a two-door sports car. They need a four-door sedan, and the GS is a good-sized vehicle that has a lot of room. You can have a 6'2" person in the front and a 6' person in the back, and most of the times they're going to feel pretty comfortable and want to ride around town with you. It also has a very large trunk for the size of the vehicle, but you are going to miss the split fold-down seats that the car does not have. So keep that in mind, that the only thing that'll come through from the trunk is the pass-through for skis. So that is a limitation in the GS F-Sport here, but all in all, this car is well-rounded, and people who like to drive a well-balanced and aggressive car out on the highway and the curvy roads are going to find this sedan very pleasurable to drive. We talk a lot about gas mileage in different cars, with the price of gas being a common topic of discussion. This particular car is rated by the EPA as getting 19 miles per gallon in the city, 26 miles per gallon out on the highway, and a combined EPA estimated fuel efficiency of about 21 miles per gallon. Now, I can tell you I am a little bit of a lead foot when it comes to a sports car, and this particular vehicle and I seem closer to 16 or 17 miles per gallon in town here in Colorado. So you are going to see varying amounts of fuel economy, especially if you are one of those that really likes the sound of the motor and you're tipping into the throttle away from lights to hear that kind of growl. It is going to drink a little bit more fuel. However, if you are a little more conservative than I am and you put it into eco mode and you tiptoe around town a little bit more, you will see or exceed that 19 miles per gallon in town. For the fans that are Lexus oriented, this GS really represented a pretty aggressive redesign when it came out. And a lot of that had to do with the exterior and interior. Of course, we have this 12.3-inch screen that I mentioned earlier, but also just the flow of the dashboard, the design, the way that the pipe lights come under these trim pieces at night so that you get this nice stream of light along the doors. There's a lot of attention to detail that Lexus and Toyota put into this vehicle, and it really has raised this sense of luxury that comes with the GS. The GS was not always seen as desirable as some of the other Lexus models because it was kind of an odd placement. It couldn't really decide which market it was catering to, luxury or sports or comfort. And in this vehicle, you really get the sense that it is a sports sedan. It's well laid out. It's got a lot of crisp design features, and generally, it's probably the best Lexus midsize sedan they've produced in the last decade. So that's a bit of an opinion there, but I think if you're looking for a car between $50,000 and $60,000, and you're willing to pay that much for a sports sedan, then this is one to look at. However, be aware that there are other sports sedans out on the market that might also catch your interest that will be $10,000 or $20,000 less. So take that into account. One of the things people ask about when I'm driving these cars and my friends ask me is, what's the difference between this? I mean, a Lexus, is it really as nice as a M5 or a Mercedes E-Class AMG? All the cars that this is really competing with. And I went to the launch of this car out in Las Vegas originally about a year ago, I guess now, and they had a BMW 5 Series and a Mercedes E-Class out there on the track with it. Of course, they didn't bring the performance-oriented ones, the AMG and the M5, so it was a little bit of an apples and oranges comparison. But what is noticeable is the price difference between those cars. So you will pay less for this Lexus than the M5 and the E-Class AMG. However, you're also going to get different levels of performance. This 3.5-liter V6 does get up and move. It has plenty of power for most people. However, if you're going to try to light, which we do not recommend here on Real Auto Reports, but if you're going to be out on the track and try to show your prowess against a Mercedes AMG, especially in the E-Class, you're going to be disappointed out on the straights, because this car just does not have the same straight line speed as an AMG or an M5. But that said, most of the time these cars are about day-to-day living, and I think that most enthusiasts and drivers of sports sedans will find that this Lexus performs very well. It's very comfortable, and probably will keep, with the all-wheel drive especially that this vehicle has, will keep you safe, sound, and you won't spend a lot of money on maintenance because it does have that Toyota Lexus reliability. So that's the real review of the 2013 Lexus GS 350 F Sport. Just to recap, this is an all-wheel drive sports sedan. It comes in at right about $59,000. It has over 300 horsepower coming from a 3.5-liter V6 power plant. That's what Lexus likes to call them, so we'll call them that too. It also has graphite 19-inch wheels and all of the F Sport appearance package on the outside that is really classy and aggressive. So, yes, you can be classy and aggressive. So, we also should mention the 12.3-inch class-leading interior navigation and entertainment display. These are all things that make this Lexus an interesting sports sedan out on the market today. So, if you're in the market for one in this price point, we think you should check it out. And for Real Auto Reports, I'm Jonathan McGrew. We'll see you down the road.